Hi and welcome. This is Eric, and today we are going to continue with our video series, and we will be really generating data from multiple places. So to begin with, on our previous video series, we saw this patient information data flow. Okay, so a project like this really we need data to start with. Okay, so if you are watching me right now, or if you get assigned this project, or if you wanna do it on your own, or any kind of project with SQL and all that, really the first thing you need is to get data. So I'm gonna show you how to generate data really. Okay, so first I'm gonna show you how to generate data from or in an Excel file. Okay, so to generate data, just open Excel file. Open a new workbook, a blank workbook, and here you are. So in here, you can find names, you can list names, you can do whatever you want, or you can just type names, for example. And maybe I'll start from this line here, and this will be patient name. And if you need some kind of unique identifier, you can say maybe this is patient ID. So maybe you wanna produce the information about patient. Okay, so ID, this can be unique. So to do that, you can start typing 1, 2, 3. Okay, and if you highlight this and you come down here, you double click, it will generate this number for you. So maybe if you don't want or you don't like this number, you want to generate something like MRN number. This is medical record number. So you can use the this function here. Okay. So if you don't know about function, please watch my previous video. And if you cannot find, comment down and ask me. Okay, so in here to write a formula, you start with equal sign and you start typing random. And you can see the first one, RAND, returns a random number greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the third one. Look at that. What does this do? RAND between. Returns a random number between two numbers you specify. Okay, so I'm gonna hit tab, and there I'm gonna get bottom number. So let's say I need to get from maybe 10,000 to 9,999. I can do that. Maybe I just do this. Close bracket. Now if I hit enter, it will generate that number for me. Okay, this random number. And then if I double click on it, it's gonna generate all these random numbers, and you can see they'll be all random. So you have patient name, you do have medical number, medical record number, and all this. You can save this information here as CSV. Maybe this is patient list names. I'm gonna say patient name list, patient name list, and I'll save this as CSV. You see, comma separated file. I'm gonna save it, and if I close, this file is stored somewhere in CSV. And if I open here, I'll just use Notepad++ this time, and I will see my information in here with comma separated. We do have medical record number, patient name, and all that. This file here we can at the end of the day import into SQL Server if that's the tool you'll be using. If you're using MySQL, you can import MySQL. If you're using Oracle, you can import CSV file to Oracle. If you like to import CSV file to SQL database, there's a video series. Just go to my playlist and do that. So I'm gonna change this here. I've shown you CSV or Excel, and you can save the text and then you can input that information in there. Okay. And the second I'll show you is to generate data in SQL Server database, and really we use something called SSIS. Okay, and then you're gonna insert the information in our SQL Server. So let's not waste time here. Okay, so first open SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. This is just a CRAND tool which helps us to interact with the database. So to open that, you click your search icon, you type SSMS, and you click on Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. Once you click that, it's gonna open for you SQL Server Management Studio, and this is it. Okay, I'll show you guys how to import that information, but for now, let's stop from there really. So we have done this. I'll show you to generate this data randomly right now. So for example here, I need patient names, and maybe I need MRN, and maybe I need really the same information we did have, and we can add other really column, but let's try to find the same information we had in our file here, which was just if you can take a look, it was patient ID, patient name, and medical record number. Okay, so first of all, we need to create a database. To create a database, you can go ahead and right click and say new database, and you can type here EHR. So our database name gonna be EHR. You go ahead and click OK. Once you click OK, go ahead and refresh your window. If you come here, you're gonna see EHR. If you open here, you're gonna see no, you don't have any tables here. There's nothing. Another way you can use is a script. All you need is first you have to use master. And again, I'm going so fast because I do have videos on how to create the database, and you can do it yourself. So you can do master, and then you can say create database EHR. This is another command to create a database, okay, using the script. So that doesn't interest us. So the next thing is to create a table, and I'm gonna go ahead and create a table here. So you can use a script, but I'm gonna use graphical user interface. I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna say new table. And my table name, I'm gonna click F4 to get the table name here. I'm gonna call patient dummy data. Okay, and here I'm gonna add patient ID. This is gonna be an int, and then this number here, because to be incrementing, remember we are incrementing that file, and maybe I should open it in a Excel file so that we see it. So we see number 1, 2, 3 within names, and we see records here. Okay, so we generate about 18 records. That's fine, more than enough. And then we do have a medical record number, which is gonna be generated randomly. So I'm gonna say that's patient. I'm gonna say patient name. This is gonna be VACA. Maybe I can say 50. That's good. I can add again MRN. This stands for medical record number. I'm gonna give it maybe back maybe 20. Okay, and because I like to see when the information is entered, I'm gonna say maybe create a date. And in this scenario, you're gonna maybe update a date as well. Create a date. This is gonna be date and time, and then I'm gonna set the default value to get the current date and time, and the command is get date. So that's a default value here for the date. For MRN number, just leave as now, and then this is gonna be now, and this one here and the patient ID, I am going to set the identity here. You see the identity? I'm gonna say yes, it's start from 1 and seed is 1, meaning you can start from 1 and the increment gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like this. So we need to find a way to get this information, and as well as the medical record number. So first, let's learn how to generate the random number. Okay, so I'm gonna save my table here. I'm gonna close. I'm gonna open a new query. I'm gonna say use EHR, and then I'll select all from that table. Okay, so I'm gonna say select all from, what's the table name? Patient dummy data. Right now there are no data. So if you remember, I'm gonna comment this out. To comment, we just do that. If you guys remember, if I do select RAND, it's exactly the same we saw in Excel file. So this is not Excel really, but if you go to your formulas and you say equal sign and you start typing RAND, you're gonna see this return number, which is between 0 and 1. And then if you say between, you're gonna give you, but in SQL we don't have this. You're gonna have to generate that ourselves, and I'll show you guys. So if I do this number will always be less than 1 and greater than 0. So if you want it to be greater than 1, you can say +1. So if you do this, you're gonna always be greater than 1. See that? So let's say if you want between 10 and 20. So first of all, I'm gonna comment this out so that doesn't. We're gonna have to add 10. You see that? It's gonna be 10. And again, for it to get to 20, really, you can say here we can times, if you check now 20, and it should be a little bit over. You see that when you do 20, there's a possibility if the number we can get 29. So we may need here to minus 10. I'm gonna close this bracket here so that it doesn't exist. It doesn't exceed 20. Okay. So now if you take a look, this is 14, 17, 18. You see 10. It will never, if I'm gonna keep on refreshing, it will never exceed 20. So if you pay attention, you will see here, and these are random numbers, and if you want the integers, you can just cast this as integer, or you can use you can do this. If you know about casting, you can say cast as integer, as int, so this you just get integer. See that? Or sometimes you can use something which is called floor. So I'm just gonna copy this. I'm gonna say this is floor. Floor meaning you just get the number, the lowest number in there. And let's see the definition here real quick. So the definition of floor from Microsoft, it says it returns the largest integer less than or equal to the specified numeric expression. So you put floor, and this is going to be numeric expression, and then you're going to return the largest integer. You see all this going to return 124 because it's met here and all that, but it returns just integer. Okay, so really all these gonna work, and you're gonna generate just random number. So if you may pay attention over here, you see between 10 and 20, and this is what you come up with. So if you pay attention, this is lower limit, this is upper limit. Okay, so for those people who know mathematics, you can say if you want a random number, between, I'm gonna say A and B, and this is the formula. All we need is to substitute. If you take a look over here, 10 and 20, 10 and 20. So this is gonna be B, and this is gonna be A, and this is gonna be A. So now this A stands for maybe lower limit. So this is gonna be bottom. If you go back to our Excel definition, see between two numbers, and then if you select RAND, you're gonna see bottom and top. So A equals to bottom and B equals to top. So I'm gonna say lower, and this is gonna be upper limit. So same. I'm gonna change this maybe to bottom and top. So this is the top number, this is the bottom number. So bottom, top. So this is gonna be bottom, this is gonna be top. So this formula can take you anywhere as long as you can substitute these. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a little variable. Okay, let's go ahead and create some variables here. So because we already know our formula, and I'm gonna comment this out. So I'm gonna start here, I'm gonna leave this around. Okay, I'm gonna say declare. This is to declare variable. I'm gonna say declare variable. So I'm gonna say declare. I'm gonna call this lower. It's gonna be an int. I'm gonna say declare. I'll call this upper. It's gonna be an int. And here I'm gonna initialize variables. So I'm gonna set a starting value. I'm gonna say, because right now if I do select lower, maybe upper, again I'm assuming you know how to select this, I'm gonna get now values. You can see now and now. Okay, so I'm gonna set the variable to, so I'm gonna say set lower equals to. So if I look at my function here, what numbers did we choose? Yeah, it doesn't show me, but I'm just gonna take a wild guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I said maybe it was 1,000. And upper will be, maybe I'm gonna say 9999. These are 3, 5. So I'm gonna say 99999. Okay, so now if I select my query, I'm gonna get minimal and maximum. So if I bring my function here, which is this guy here, and I'm gonna comment everything else. So lower is gonna be this bottom. If you remember, this is bottom, and upper this is gonna be here. So this I'm gonna also comment this out. So if I execute now, every time I execute, I'm gonna get a different number. See that? That's really good. So now all I need is I know identity. So if you wanna mimic the same data, this identity, SQL will do this for me. Okay, with set identity, names, you have to come up with names, and really medical record numbers, really we're gonna generate those. Okay, so how do I do that? And I'll show you guys how to import CSV to a text file. This is just gonna generate everything. So how do we get names? We can list names, we can set names, but to make our job easier, go to any database. So for example, I do have AdventureX. If I look at the views here, probably I'm gonna get something like oh yeah, salesperson. Okay, so if I say select all from AdventureX dot sales dot v person, and guess what, you can always right click and select 1000. So for me, because I need like 20 records, I'll show you guys how to generate those. So I do have my names here. All I need here, if I select maybe top, I'll say top 3. So if I generate top 3 records here, this number, if you take a look at these names, will never change. So I'm gonna add an order by. I'm gonna say order by, and I'm gonna say new ID. So this also generates a new ID. If you wanna take a look at this, we can say that's another good way to generate data. I can show you guys how to do that. I can just say select new ID. This will generate a long number every time, gonna be random. You see that number? And most of our information will be stored in this number, but for now I don't need it. I'm just gonna use on the order bar so that every time I select top 3, it gives me random people. You see that? It's gonna give me different people. Lean, tete, lean, and all that. That's really good. And guess what? I'm just gonna need 1 every time. So I do all that, which you see that first name, middle name is Michael. If I execute every time, I'll be getting different people. So I have this which generates names from AdventureX. I do have this which generates my medical record number. It helps when you select. And now it's time to insert the records. Okay, so let me first I can insert all these records in this table too. All I need is this comes a default created date, patient ID comes from identity. So all I need to insert is these 2 records. So to do that, I can write an insert statement. I can say insert into patient dummy data, and 2 columns I'm gonna insert. So it's patient name. And if you don't know how to do this, please watch my video. Go to my name, and then you need to go to my playlist and go to SQL playlist. You should be able to find in there. Okay, so now here, all I need here is really patient name. which I'm going to combine first and last name. So I'm going to say first name plus, if you don't know how to concatenate, please again watch my previous videos, and if you can not find it, you see these names gonna be different every time. That's even better. So I need MRN. Now I'm gonna have to copy this and maybe come here all the way down here and use that MRN. So MRN, I'm gonna create another variable here. I'm gonna say declare variable, and this time I'm gonna say this is MRN because I want to use that MRN in my select statement so that it's random every time. Here you see that we need to insert random value, so I'm gonna say this is a varchar, and I'm gonna say it's just like 20. Capital letters, small letters, really doesn't matter. Okay, and here I'm gonna say, instead of select, I'm gonna say set. I'm assigning that value, which is a medical record number, MRN, equals to this. And then in here, I'm gonna say comma MRN, that variable. We created a variable here. We're generating a random number and inserting. And again, I'm gonna write this statement after so that we see what's being inserted. So you see, now I have 3, 4. So you can execute this multiple times. You're gonna get the records you want. So I don't want this video to be so long, so I'm gonna stop here. But on my next video series, I'm gonna show you, let's say if you want 10,000 data, maybe 1,000 records or 2,000, you cannot just keep on typing, like executing every time here to get this data. See, all these names are random, these numbers are random, these are generated, and we can see the time here really good. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys to generate maybe I'm gonna say 500 records. You don't have to execute all this time. So we're gonna create like a loop on SQL, and I'll show you. And for those people who want to get this code, I'm gonna have to show you. This is all the code I have, so I'm gonna do this, which generates this dummy data. This generates all this code here, generates the MRN, and I'm getting this information from I'm gonna put down here so that you can take a screenshot or copy and paste. I'm generating this data from AdventureX. You can use any data. And then here I'm selecting these records. So far we do have a couple of records here. So I see it's already up for now. So in my next video, I'll show you guys how to, and let me make it smaller here to make it easier for you guys to copy and paste. I think I got every line here. It's just 18 lines, and this is the data. Excuse me. So I'm going to show you how to generate these random numbers. Maybe I'll just do 500 records. Okay, so thank you very much. See you in my next video.